And welcome everyone to another episode of Inside CKP. I am your host, Jeremy Como, and with me today I have the lovely Marisa Wolf over there, and Mr. Chris Kennedy himself down there. And we're here to talk about their latest release. But before we do that, I want to tell everybody to go to Chris Kennedy Publishing for all your science fiction, military science fiction, horror, fantasy needs. And if you want to support him and this podcast, you can go to his Patreon and become a member there. In fact, we're going to talk more about that later, and specifically to the book that we're launching today. And then, of course, you can find all of his wares on Amazon. Go there and you'll find a plethora of wonderful authors writing wonderful. Yeah, I like to throw out the big words when I'm talking to authors.
Yeah.
And you can go there, find out everything there, and there is plenty to be had. So please to enjoy and welcome. Please, for those in the future who don't know you and who will be watching this video, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them where they can find you.
Do we want to do ladies first, or are you going to do a whole introduction for her too?
Yeah, we're gonna do. Yeah, so
Okay.
you go first.
Okay. Chris Kennedy. Where do they find me? ChrisKennedyPublishing.com, like you said. That's the big one. Obviously there are a couple Facebook groups associated with CKP. They're welcome to come there, talk to the authors, talk to me. And that's all good.
Okay. All right, and Marisa, if you would.
That's me. Yeah, I would say Instagram is probably your best bet if you want pictures of dogs and books. I'm at Book Dogs. If you want to see all the books I get to be a part of, that's Amazon or my website. And I have a little baby YouTube channel that we're going to put stuff on eventually. So you can check those out there too. My Facebook author page exists, and you are welcome to hang out there with me. But Instagram is probably your best bet for interaction.
And I would probably say that you could go to both of our websites and sign up for the mailing list, and then you can really keep track of what's going on.
Good catch.
You should really do that. Our newsletters are super fun, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, and not only
and
that,
you get free stuff, and you get to find out about all the good deals and all of that. So definitely want to do that.
Awesome. So with that, we are here today to celebrate the release of you two guys' latest novel in the Four Horsemen Universe, The Lyons Pride. There it is, all nice and shiny. And in case you missed it, there's the link down at the bottom there that you can go and buy it right now. So please go and buy the book and enjoy it. So let's see.
And I think they really will enjoy it, based on the reviews that have been coming in so far, and pretty much everything that I've heard. And when I was interviewed for the Future Books podcast, I said, this is my new favorite 4HU book. And I wasn't lying, and I wasn't trying to make it up to be something that it wasn't. This really is my favorite book. I think it's got something for everyone in there. It reveals some things that longtime people will be interested in. And we wrote it so that anybody could jump in there without a previous knowledge of the Four Horsemen universe. So, if people have kind of been going, ooh, there's almost 80 books and I don't know if I want to make that investment. You don't have to. You can just jump in here and be good and get a great story that, you don't need to know anything ahead of. If you do, it's going to be, it's going to fill in some things, but it's an entertaining story, even if you don't.
Awesome. Yeah. And
secrets. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that, because for someone like me who's a little behind, would it it's like, oh, why would I buy this book when I have to go read 70 other books to know what's going on here? So it's good to know that you can just jump right in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so for so y'all both been on the show before, but for those who haven't seen you before, let's do kind of a real quick edited version of how'd you come to writing, how'd you come to publishing, and your path to where you are now. And we're going to go alphabetical. Chris, if you would go first.
Okay. They say that 81% of people have a story they want to tell. I was always part of the 19. Never had a story, never wanted to be a writer. Most writers like, oh, I've been a writer since I was 5 years old, ever since I learned. No, I never wanted to be a writer. Finished my doctoral dissertation, said, hooray, I never have to write anything ever again. 2 million words later, that's kind of taken a wrong turn or a right turn, depending on how you look at it. One day I did have a story and I wrote it down, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I kind of worked my way through it. People say, how did you become an indie author? 75 trad pubs said no. So I did it myself, and had some success with it. And a couple people came up and said, hey, you look like you know what you're doing. How about publishing me? Okay, sure. Hey, you look like you know what you're doing. How about publishing me? Okay, sure. Hey, you did them, do me. Okay. And I woke up one day and I was a publisher. Just like one day I woke up and I was an author, and now I'm a publisher. And I once I realized that, I jumped in with both feet and tried to do the best job I could with it and build the business, and give a lot of new authors chances that they may not have gotten somewhere else. When I was starting out, I was lucky in that I had a couple people give me a chance when I really had no right to even think I had anywhere near deserved it. But they hooked me up, and that's kind of what how I've run CKP ever since. And I think, especially in the Four Horsemen universe, I think we've now given 25 new authors their first start, published their first thing. So yeah, including one here on the show today.
Please.
Well, nice little segue. Marisa, would you tell your story?
Yeah, I am one of those people who's been writing since they were 5 or 6. I still have my first story. It's laminated. It's Sarah and the Idaho Potatoes. Don't know why I was so into potatoes, but actually, no, I do. I love potatoes. So it's great. Great story. It's terrible. But yeah, no, I love writing. I've always been a writer. And I am published because of Casey Azell and Chris Kennedy Publishing. So I think folks have heard my Casey tricked me story a couple times, either from me or from Casey. That's it happened to Chris. Yeah. Poof. And so Casey wrote this amazing short story for the first or second. It was the first one, right? The first Four Horsemen anthology. And Chris and Mark were like, ooh, we like this. Do you want to do a novel? And Casey was like, yes. However, stack of projects, 8,000 feet deep. What if I got this friend to write with me? And they were like, okay. But then I had to submit a short story to show that I could write words. And it was accepted, which was amazing. So my very first short story published by Chris Kennedy Publishing. And I am not quite as fast as some of the authors in the CKP stable, except apparently for when I'm writing with Chris. But I am picking up with my discipline. So I've got now 5 co-authored novels and 25 or 26 short stories that have been published, and like 8 more things that I'm working on right now. And yeah.
All at the same time.
Usually,
yeah, that's how I do. So.
Yeah. Well, so as y'all were saying, y'all been pretty busy since the last time y'all been on the show, and so let's dive into that. And I was witness to some of it. So, let's talk about the while we're all here, the Lions Pride, and what people should look forward to when they read it. Let's see. All right, so your co-authors. What was that like? What was you've already kind of alluded to it. What was that process like? Was it different than writing alone or with other authors? Go ahead and kind of describe that.
Your turn.
Ladies first.
Oh, I get to be first. Okay, so for me, it turns out I am competitive. I don't know if anyone knew that. It's a mystery. But so Chris was like, hey, so we finished a project. When do you want to get started on this? And I was like, oh, yeah, how about right after LibertyCon? Chris is like, cool. Here's 30,000 words. Also, we should write 2 books. It's like, oh, shoot. Okay. So there was, we got a little bit of a head start. And so I got back from LibertyCon and I was like, okay, I can do this. And so every day Chris would write in the morning because he was very disciplined, and he would say like, oh yeah, I wrote, 3 to 5,000 words depending on the day. And so each afternoon I'd be like, well, shoot, I gotta at least match that. And so sometimes I stayed up till 2 a.m. But I got it. So suddenly we were putting down an average of like 8,000 words a day on this story. And I had more 5,000 word days than I've ever had, except for, the night of a deadline. And it was awesome because every day I would get so excited in the afternoon to read what he had written. And then I would just jump in and start writing. It was super fun. So
it was super fun. And I'm not competitive at all either, much. Well, okay, maybe a little. So, when I'd get up in the morning and I'd look at the thing and go, holy crap, she wrote 5,000 words. All right, I'm getting 6. And we really did drive each other in a good way. And it was never a bad thing. It was never, okay, well, I got 4, you're behind now. So, we had enough competitive edge, and the story was just so fun. I think that was, that was part of it, was that, I know certainly from my side, I looked forward to writing every day. I looked forward to seeing what Marisa did, and, okay, well, she did that. What can I do to even make it betterer, because she was writing great stuff, and we have slightly different skill sets. So, we'd get to a piece and I knew that it was, this is hers, and I'd go, okay. And I'd leave a block that says, Marisa, insert, whatever here. And then I'd keep writing on past it. And I don't know if she'd ever had anybody write beyond her, and where she had to try and fill in the gaps. But she did an absolutely wonderful job with it. And I left gaps all over the place because like she said, I did start first. And some of the times she filled it in exactly like I thought she would. And sometimes it went kind of over here for a while. And I was like, oh, wait, now if you're going to do that, then we need to do this other thing. And she'd be like, oh yeah. And it worked out really, really well because, like I said, our skill sets are complementary. So the things that I could do well, I tried to do, and the things that she does well, she did well. And it really, I think, came together better than any other co-write, that I've done. And I've co-written with a lot of people, this stage, and this one was, just fun throughout. Not to say that anybody else I haven't written with was fun, but this one was just, it was super fun, and dare I say, magic. It just,
you dare.
We worked really well together, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we did it again.
Yeah. We did. Yeah.
Somebody
we did
commenting
too.
on your competitive nature.
Yeah. The lion himself here in the chat. I love it.
Not super competitive. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So like I said, I got to witness a lot of the competition and shenanigans going on while y'all were writing the book. So you were kind of talking about earlier. It's like, oh, she went and did this thing, and and went in this direction during. Because I know y'all have an idea of where the book's going to go while you're writing it. Is there because of what someone else wrote, did it at any point take like a fundamental change and kind of change what you were going to write, or did it all kind of go out to plan and y'all just had fun with it?
Well, we had an outline.
Mm-hmm.
Before we started, I had started and I was just writing along without an outline because I knew kind of where I was going. But when you're writing with somebody else, you kind of got to clue them in on, okay, the train has left this station and it's going to hit these stops and ultimately it's going to get to this destination. So we sat down when we started and we worked out the major parts of it. And there were tweaks that we both put in along the way, but I don't think we really got too far away from the outline. We just added to it. It was more complimentary, and hey, wouldn't it be fun if, and oh well, we need
What
these
if?
people, and I partway through. The LibertyCon people sent me an email and said, hey, the person that won the bid for your red shirt is this person. So then we had to write him in and we couldn't just make him, like some guy that shows up and goes, hi, I'm here, zap, dead.
Right.
He
That's
had
for
to be
Sheila.
somebody, right. He had to be somebody that, that did some things and had some fun and did he survive? I don't know. You'll have to read the book, but there was this one other guy at LibertyCon one time who bought the red shirt. Guy named Summer Squash, Summer Corn,
tomato corn.
Yeah. So he got the full treatment. So. What does this new person get? We shall see.
We shall see.
Awesome. So people who know you or who have read your individual stories or other things you've written, do you think that they'll be able to tell who wrote what? No?
I don't.
Okay. I don't. I think some people will know some of Marisa's.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that know what she's really good at, and they can probably guess that there's a couple sections in there that's hers.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
I mean, I'm probably similar with Chris. I think later we'll talk about like some specific things, but there are some definite scenes that I was like, this is like the epitome of Chris Kennedy, and it's so good. So there are definite like chunks that you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is totally Chris.
But I think the voice is consistent throughout. You may be able to tell due to the topic who likely wrote which part or some of the parts, but I think the voice stayed pretty consistent, and that's because we really didn't have pride of authorship. I told Marisa from the start, hey, if you see something I've done or a way to do it better, then do it better. And I'll do the same for you if you're good with that. And she said, oh, absolutely. So, we didn't have any issues with, oh, you can't touch my stuff. Yeah. We touched each other's stuff and we played with it. And
that's what she said. Yeah.
She did.
So,
good times.
So,
she played with my stuff. Oh, and I liked it.
I liked it. I need a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah. So, what?
Oops, I'm sorry. It is your husband on here.
Oh yeah.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
My husband's here. I love your wife. We're good. It's a good little.
I'm sure she's listening. So
So wait, have y'all written together before? Or is this your first time?
This is your first time.
Yeah. So would that
be our first? Yeah. But we had so much fun that we then immediately turned around and did it again.
Yeah,
And I mean immediately, very next day.
Yeah, but we got
absolutely.
we got to talk about the marathon nature of or the sprint. Sorry, not a marathon. This was a sprint that y'all wrote not one but 2 books
In less than a month. I mean,
less than a month. Pretty
well,
impressive.
when you're writing, 8K a day, 9K a day,
Goes fast.
you can bang out a story in about a week and a half. And I think we averaged just under 2 weeks per book. I mean, and we just went boom, 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 boom.
That's crazy.
Bang, bang, bang.
So what can people expect from a Chris and Marisa story?
Goodness.
Sweet goodness.
Utter goodness.
Yeah. I think there are going to be. Yeah, I think there are going to be moments that are going to make you laugh out loud. No, Charles, we shared. But things that make you laugh out loud are probably Chris's. Things that stab you in the heart, probably mine, but not exclusively. So you're gonna get some things that crack you up. You're gonna get some things that are like, oh, is it a little onion in it? Onion in here.
Oh my gosh, Sheila must be cooking with onion downstairs.
Right. Lots of vegetables that are eye piercing. You're gonna get really strong characters doing really fun stuff. I think that is what you're gonna get from one of our books.
I think that there are going to be some surprises, some good ones, some ones where you go, what? I mean, because the Lion has been around enough, and you've seen him periodically to know that maybe he does some sketchy things. Maybe he's got a background. Maybe what made this guy? What made this guy do these things? And that really has been the one thing all along that has never come out, mostly because it couldn't. So now we're able to tell the tale, and you'll find out some things that probably didn't see coming. And yeah, and then some of that will carry on into World Enders, which is the second book we wrote.
Well, I'm going to pull up a comment real quick because I love this. You get so much information. You do. And we looped Chris a couple times, touched base with Mark to make sure that we were keeping some things consistent across the broader universe. So that was super fun. So yeah, you find out some stuff. Some things.
So when y'all were writing, I always like to ask, especially with sometimes authors will do this with their own stuff, but like you got something from one another, and you're like, oh damn, this is good. Whether it made you happy or sad, or you went yes, or you started crying. Did y'all have any of those moments writing together?
Yes.
You look a little.
Yes, quite a few.
Grin there.
A few? Well, no spoilers, right? I can't tell you specifically. But yeah, there were definitely.
There are 2 words that we're both dying to say that we know we can't.
Oh no.
We can't say.
We can't say. We really, really want to, because they were something that we said back and forth all the time about a point in the story that is probably the most powerful, and it's one of them. One of 2 or 3. But
yeah, don't say it.
We'll say it maybe next week.
All right.
With one of those spoiler boom.
Yeah, space. Yeah.
All right. So those of you who aren't on the fan pages, the 4HU or the factory floor, go sign up now, so you can get all the good news.
Good news.
But we both want to tell you so badly.
Yeah.
So badly. Yeah.
So the Lyons Pride is it's part of the 4HU, but it's a part of the Phoenix Initiative. Right.
It's not only a part; it is 100% of it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's one of one. And it is the Phoenix Initiative. Without giving away too much of the main storyline, is there is a strategic pause where the Merc forces have all been beaten down after years of warfare, and due to certain things happening, there is a short, who knows how long, pause. And the head of the Merc Guild has said, hey, we need to build up our forces. We need to get ready for this next thing that we see coming. And by and large, the Phoenix Initiative are the stories of the different companies building up. But this one is going to be slightly different because it's got a little bit more of a history, because it's the first one and it's a new entry point. It's got a little more history and shows some things through because of the topic that we chose to use to do all this. It was such, using the lion was perfect for this, because it allows us to kind of tell what went before, without having to go, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. Right. We could use his experiences to show, what happened, and give the folks that are coming in for the first time a look at what went before, without having to read all 80 books. But it's interesting enough so that the people that have read the 80 books, get some things that they didn't know too. So.
Okay. So,
but that's the plan anyway. That's what we were trying to do.
Yes.
The reader can be the judge.
The judge.
Whether we succeeded or not.
And you may have already done this, but what can you share about the plot without giving away everything? How would you sell the book? How would you what's on the back that's to hook somebody into it?
Joel Lyons has a lot of success in his past. He applies it to a new avenue in which that success does not quite neatly match. He puts himself up against somebody he probably shouldn't have. Shit goes sideways. And then we find out if he can get through the shit or not.
And the title is a bit of a pun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the book is based on not only the Lyons Pride mercenary company, but it's based on things that happened because of the lion, singular, Lyons Pride, and what his personal, what do you call it? His fatal flaw, what that gets him into and drives the story.
Yeah, what does pride go before?
Oops.
So
that's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well played. Well played.
Teamwork.
So what would you say you're most proud of or excited for people?
Having just talked about pride.
Right. Segue. So good.
Yeah.
Segue.
To see, again, no spoilers, but what is the proudest thing in the book or about the whole process of the book that that you're excited for people to see or know about?
The thing that I'm proudest about is that when we got done, I went back and did the first editing pass on it, and I couldn't put it down. I wrote a story that I think is one of the finest stories that I've been a part of, and to have that out there, showcases, I think, very favorably both Marisa and I, and I'm really excited to have that out there as something that readers can look at and go, oh wow, that's a great story. Who wrote that? Oh, wow. They did a great job.
These guys.
You know, it's something I can hold up and go, I did this, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. So that answer, my other answer would be, I made Chris tear up, and that was very proud moment.
She made me tear up a couple times, and I'm not even kidding. I had to go. Okay, I got to take a break. Walk downstairs, you know, get a soda. She was like, "You're not crying, are you?"
No,
no, not me. No,
crying in
Okay.
baseball.
Okay. It was
not at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was chickpeas. It was the chickpeas she was making.
Yeah, it was
for
the
you.
chickpeas. Eating chickpea pasta made me cry.
That's right. Made you cry.
The fact that was what was going to be for lunch.
Right.
I was like,
Well played.
God,
Well played.
are you serious?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, she did. She totally did.
So
And there's those two words again.
I know we can't say it. However, we do have a special surprise guest.
A surprise guest.
Speaking of
guest.
Lion.
Who could it be? Oh!
Hello!
Hello!
It's the Lion!
I heard some shit was getting talked up in here about hubris.
That wasn't our word. That was Travis's word. That is Travis Cox. You can see. No, just kidding.
Please send all your hate mail to.
JK, we love you, Travis.
I have certain coins that let me do certain things.
Weird.
Good evening, everyone.
So, someone please introduce our new guest, if you, one of the authors, if you wouldn't mind.
You're on there, Chris?
Well, hey, everybody, for those of you that don't know our guest, you can see his name pop up as Joel Lyons. He has the exact same name as the main character in the book, and he has become the Lion in practice throughout all of the Four Horsemen events. He runs the Lion's Den both at his house and then at the Fantasy Con. And make sure that we all have great dining outs when we're there. He is the Lion, and there is no other.
That's true. And I thank you both so much for giving me this universe to play in. So it's been fun.
When we were getting ready to write the story, I talked with Joel and I said, well, hey, you know, we're writing your story. What exactly do you think happened in your history that you want everybody to know? And he said, well, you know, and at one point I actually asked him, hey, you want to write this together? And he said, no, I don't want to write. No, right, right. I'm broke.
That's your good impression.
And I said, okay. Well, you know, if there's anything you want me to include, you know, okay. And then I get back this giant, you know, like 5-page document of this is the history. No, it wasn't that long. I'm exaggerating. but he, you know, he had a number of things that you know, he had his high points in the life of the Lion, which we then expounded upon and had a great time with, and you know, got to make Joel a hero of his own story.
I also had some low points. There's some low points. It's all not right. I got the book on Monday and I read it in the entire thing on Monday.
It's not all sunshines and rainbows.
No, nice. We gotta put him on the spot here though. So you read it all in one day, and what was your final assessment, sir?
I really hope there's more, and that's just not me as the person. I feel like the book. I tell you, at my age, my knees hurt at this point. But the way that it encompasses a roughly 50 to 60 year time frame, I feel like it just tells the story of like when things for the characters in that particular book are spinning up. And the way that it leaves off with the Pride, at least, it allows new characters to come in and new things to happen, at least in my mind. And I'm really happy with my real estate investment at the end of the book. That's all I have to say.
Okay, no spoilers.
I will say that in case anybody that's been watching really couldn't tell, Marisa and I may have had a good time writing both together and writing this story, and could we follow this along a little further? Why, yes, we could, and we absolutely left it so that we could, and I think that you will see more in this storyline.
Because I do remember distinctly at a dining out, we have to explain how the Bespith skin got on the back wall and how someone got a scar. Hopefully, we'll see that in the future.
More to come. More to come.
Yeah.
And I actually got I'm wearing one on now. I've actually got the Lyons Pride patches on, so
nice.
That was fun.
That was awesome. Yeah, and we've got members of the Lyons Pride mercenary group in the chat right now. As folks may have seen in the chat when we saw like "Hello, boss," and the other boss is here. So the boss of that unit, yup.
Yeah, I'm not sure which hello boss that was for.
Yeah.
Boss and
Two
boss.
Bosses. Boss and boss. I will give you all one complete and total spoiler because it's fun for me. At one point, Joel Lyons in the book is drinking a very fine tequila. And that is specifically because at my second Fantasy, right? Joel's just like running around, like doing work, as you do when you run a convention. And he just stopped by and dropped off 2 margaritas that were 2 of the best margaritas I've ever had in my life because I drank both of them. I think I was supposed to share, but I didn't. And they were amazing. So I was trying to figure out what he should be drinking in a scene. And I was like, obviously tequila because I need more of these margaritas in my life. So 1, bribable author, just so you all know. And 2, those drinks have a background in reality. It's pretty delightful.
Well, to me, Marisa, that was sort of the interesting tidbits of real life that have gotten sprinkled into the book. You're like, I saw what you did there. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's from of course I drive a lot, but I haven't got all the books, but I feel like this is maybe one of the first books for you guys that you were able to incorporate the history of the how the 4-H shoe was grown in real life into a book for the first time ever, maybe. I'm not going to get I'm not going to get spoilers, but for anybody who's been involved with the overall fan group and the fans and the book series that's grown and have done things like Fantasy, they're going to appreciate some of the real life nods that are in the book. And I as the person that it is nodding to, yes, I appreciate that for someone who's like, oh, yeah, hey, I get that reference.
There are a lot of Easter eggs and nods and things like that, and yes, they're all very intentional.
Yeah, I like the walk. I didn't even realize that like you had named that. I call it the con walk, but I was like, I see what he did there. Yep.
So, Joel, when you found out that you were going to be immortalized in this novel, how'd that make you feel?
I'm not a hubris-driven person in real life. I take pride in all that I do. I was titillated because I originally all I asked for Chris, he asked me did I want to be in a book, and I was like, no, just put my restaurant in the book, and that was it. And it was in the second one, right, Chris? Because they go to have a meeting at the Lyons Den.
Right. It was early on.
Yeah, and then I think I've been the only one that's went back and touched back on the maple syrup thing as the character. Because I was like, oh, this is the. I was like, this is foreshadowing for some reason, and it never came back up. But I remembered it.
Yep.
No, but I'm flattered. I'm flattered. I hope that I, as a person, personify myself as a character.
Well, the good part, anyway.
The good part and the bad part. And the bad part. There's like, I guess it's not a spoiler that my wife is in the book as well.
That's really what I wanted to know. I wanted to know what she thought as you. I don't know if she's read it or you told her about it.
She made me. What is it? Cliff notes it to her that night in bed, and
Fair.
What's funny is, and you've been around us for years now, Chris, and you've heard how me and Mary talk to each other, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly the tone. I hear that voice in Mary's voice, and it's interesting to hear my wife yell at me in a book as well as real life.
Honestly, I tried to capture things that I've heard. Maybe not okay, she probably in her daily life doesn't talk to you about running a mercenary company, but she does talk to you about running a con and things like that. And I've tried to put in.
Yeah, no, it was extremely well done, sir, and I give you both props for that. It's interesting to see, and I mean, to be honest, you guys threw me for a loop. I didn't know that one character was going to be thrown in after that was named after a famous song. But that, it was just all about motivation for the Lion at that point. And it's very interesting. And it goes to show that whole interaction with that character, a certain person's reach throughout the entire 4-issue universe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, obviously I have read the book, so I know it is actually the first official required reading not required, but encouraged reading for the Lyons Pride Merc Company, so that on our next monthly meeting we can have a discussion about it.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
Oh, I'd love to hear about that. That's awesome.
So, Joel, are we gonna see you at FactoryCon this year?
Yes.
All right, cool.
I am running, I guess, a mini dining out. I'm running the potluck down there.
The potluck?
And me and Chris, soft brag, me and Chris are the only ones who have been on every single CKP fishing trip.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all did pretty
We're
good.
we're going deep and coming back smelling like fish this time.
Yeah, how long? I said that. I said that at Congregate, right? I think.
Yeah.
One time at Congregate like 17 years ago. We'll get there one day.
But we're going out to the Gulf Stream this time, so we're going to try and get a bunch of tuna, bring back some tuna. Should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I actually, sorry, segue. I was reading that the bluefish are really good that time of year too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we got 3 boats, so we ought to be able to get something darn good.
Yeah.
Some fish.
Fish. Sushi. Can I have sushi?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll just be waiting to eat.
Yeah. So you've alluded to it a couple times now that you wrote 2 books together within a month, and you've kind of alluded to the fact that we're going to continue the story. Well, so what can we expect, or what can you share that is going to come in the future for Mr. Lyons?
Well, it's not the second book is not a continuation of the first.
Okay.
It's something completely different, but it does touch on some of the events that happen in the Lyons Pride. in it, the second book is very much a product of fan interaction. In that, in the Four Horsemen group, somebody one day said, "Oh, hey, we haven't seen a Sal Shah Peacemaker," and I said, "Okay, challenge accepted." And mostly you haven't seen one because they're new members. They haven't really had time to get a somebody through the Peacemaker Academy and get out into the world. But now we have Sal Shah, a Fide, a Vitano all walk into a bar. Oh, and there was a
What
deputy.
could that
You just
bar
didn't
be?
see it.
You didn't
Right.
see them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you
Well-
will see a couple of characters and a couple of locations from the Lyons Pride will show up in World Enders. And I will say no more.
And the thing about World Enders is it ties up a lot of the events of Tempest Rage. So this one is really more of a main storyline book where a lot of the things that happened in Tempest Rage will then have direct implications to the story and what's going on and why we need this Sal Shah Peacemaker in the first place. And we also will see the return of Marisa's Peacemaker from Set the Terms, who I found in that book to be one of the most interesting characters of the entire 4HU. To the extent that I said we need to have him come back. He probably needs his own book. When are you going to get that done? But in the interim, we need him here.
Cool. And Joel, thanks for having a drink on screen, because I think I might make it a requirement that people have drinks when they come on the show.
Oh, was that not a requirement? Was I not supposed to pregame?
So, no, you
It
did a
is
good
now.
thing. You did a
It's
good thing.
you.
It is now. Although I think Oz has drank on the show too. I just didn't think of it. I think from now on, this is going to be a
Bring your
social call,
beverage.
so we're going to have your chosen beverage. So thank you, sir.
My PR person tells me I shouldn't talk about drinking so much on these and actually be drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't talk about it. Just casually put it
Just
in
be
your
about
mouth.
it. Just be about it.
So
Just casually
that
put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
what she said.
She
all
knows
what she
she knows what's best for me. So
Yeah, there you are. Also, Oz for sure had a drink.
Oh yeah, I thought he had a beer.
Yeah.
So now, if you want to get a teaser, if you're still not sure whether you want to read this book or not, which I don't understand you if you do, you can hear a snippet of it read by the lovely Marisa Wolf on the Chris Kennedy Patreon, and you can go on there now. Chris, if you want to talk about this, you can. But yeah, you can go there for a brief preview of the book.
Yeah, I try and give exclusive readings to the people that are Patreon subscribers. It's hosted by Ian J. Malone, who does the CKP Confidential. He has been involved in broadcasting and in doing a lot of things, over the air, and I think he is just a wonderful, host for it. You can really tell he has experience doing that. So that's a lot of fun. It's very professionally produced and gives people an inside look at some of the stories that are coming up.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Ian and Rob Howell and Kevin Steverson also have their podcast, The Dudes in Space, which you can find
Hyperspace.
Yeah.
Sorry. And you can find that anywhere where there's podcasts. They're also on YouTube, although it's audio. Well, actually, that's a lie. They've been doing video lately. So You can watch them on YouTube, or you can listen on Spotify or Apple or Google, and find them there. It's a good show. And speaking of Ian, he's got that radio voice down, man. He can and he goes in and out of segments. You can tell he's done it before.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Pretty good. So let's see, where are we? So the second book in this series, do we kind of know when that might be coming out, or can you say? Or
Yes, we know exactly when it's coming out. It is coming out next month on the 26th, I believe. I'm pulling it up now. We will have a little drum roll, please. And it comes out on the 23rd of September. Sorry, 23rd of September. World Enders, which is 1 week after we have this other book that may be of some interest to the people here. Something to do with Valkyries?
Yeah, a whole other initiative, if you will. The Valkyries Initiative comes out September 16th. Randall Willis, who hosts the Future Books podcast, said it's the best anthology he's read all year. So just throwing that out there. And there have been some amazing anthologies this year. So yeah, if you like urban fantasy and you like shenanigans written by incredible authors, there are a lot of badassery and shenanigans happening in the Valkyries Initiative. So I hope y'all like it.
And
it's going to be a big month.
Yeah.
What world is that in? Is that?
It's in the Hit World. It's in the Hit World universe, but it's going to be its own. So.
Yeah, Marisa couldn't just play in the Hit World. She had to take it over and claim a section of it as her own, and start the whole Valkyries Initiative, which is its own little section of the universe. And this is the first book in that section, and will introduce you to some of the main players that you will see later.
And good segue. Speaking of the Valkyrie Initiative, you can go to YouTube and watch the latest in the author interview series leading up to the release of the anthology, where we'll have a panel interview. And if you recognize the last name of this young author, she is related to me. This is Jordan Como, my niece. So go watch that. Be nice. She's a lovely person.
And you gotta watch it, because she's not on Facebook. So this is your chance to get to know her.
Yeah. And so that one's out on Facebook right now. And like I said, we're gonna do a panel interview on the release day of the anthology.
Is this our first published work?
First one. First one.
See, there you go.
There you go. 26.
You're an author.
So a quick note, because I've seen the lion playing with us in the corner. So if you haven't read the Lyons Pride yet, you will find out how the lion is potentially the only human in the 4HU galaxy with not one, but two of these. So you'll find out why, and also what he does with them.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So just since he's so casually over there with it, I thought I would throw that in.
You know that, like, I really would have to say, like, I know that he fidgeted it in his pocket, but I know that if in his brain, like when he was having that conversation in that back room in that bar with that one person, he just wanted to be like,
BT dubs, buddy. Yeah.
Listen, some things are going to happen to me, but if they do, something tells me that something might happen to you.
Yeah. It's one of those
holding on to his sanity through the
grip,
piece of steel.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to come right back to Nick's comment, because yes, hell yes. But that is like, in that moment, I feel like Joel is like, come hell or high water, we're coming for you, and I am the hell and the high water. It's one of those moments. Oh, and I'm gone. No, I'm back. Okay, let's go back to
You're
Nick's comment because I always want to talk about Valkyries. And Melissa,
the fact that this isn't about Valkyries.
I know. Just one time, real quick, because he's right.
I
She
was
is
the one that
amazing.
segued into Valkyries, so it's my fault.
It's true. And he is super right. She is amazing. She's a whole novel in, and it is so good. And also, 4-H related, Melissa, breaking news, is going to be writing one of those Depic companion novels that will be coming up.
And honestly, I'll give her some props. I think that she is following in Marisa's footsteps as somebody that is too good to be in just these little shared things, and they need their own things to grow, and has just an absolute stellar career ahead of them. Marisa's awesome. She has. She's a tremendous writer now, and I've seen her grow so much in the past year and a half that I know she is destined for great things. I see something similar in Melissa. Just how far she's come in such a short while. I'm looking forward to I know that I'm not going to have them to myself. And that's fine. We'll get them out there. Yeah, I can share.
Yeah, we
hopefully they'll come back and write a story for me periodically.
And speaking of companions, it seems that there might be a potential new companion joining the ranks near the end of the book as well in the Lyons Pride. I was like, ooh.
Oh, what could happen? Oh,
well,
someone's got a lot of rage to work through.
Joe, you're very good at teasers.
Yes.
I run 2 conventions, sir. I have to be very good at making
I am sure that you will see some of that moving forward.
Yep.
Beyond that, I cannot say.
All right.
Cannot confirm or deny.
But Marisa and I have had conversations.
So on that note, audience members, I'm going to ask them another question, but if you have people in the audience, if you have specific questions that you want to ask, go ahead and type them up right now. So with that little segue that you gave, in addition to the next book that you've already spoken about, what else is coming up for Chris Kennedy and Marisa Wolf? What do you have in the works that you can talk about?
Marisa, go ahead.
Yeah, we should get Joel in there too, because he's got some, conventions that might be kind of a big deal.
Yes,
so,
please do.
Yeah. So coming up next,
because his empire is growing as well.
That's right. Fictionally and in real life. So next month is a big month for me. We got Valkyries coming out September 16th. We've got World Enders coming out September 23rd. In the meantime, I will be going to Dragon Con. So I've got, on the tentative schedule, I've got 11-ish panels, I think. So you should be able to find me in the crowd of 80,000 people. Really excited about that. And then in October, there is Factory Con. And this is going to be the year that my first solo novel comes out. So I am wrapping up a couple more projects. Thank you. So working up a couple more projects. I think I will have another 3 things submitted by the end of this year. So stay tuned.
Nice.
It'll be be pretty big year. Doesn't mean they're coming out this year, but they will be submitted. So. Yeah.
Chris, we need.
I understand that completely. Having just turned in the book with David Weber to Challenge Heaven, that follows Into the Light. We turned that into tour yesterday. We look forward to seeing it, come back from tour and published in publication in 2 years or so. Hopefully as soon as possible. Don't know when it is, but that's in. Next month for me, in addition to World Enders, I have Uplink Squadron 3 that's coming out. And I have committed to 9 in that series. we've now got titles for all of them, and I know where that series is going. So those will be coming out over the next year. I look forward to writing again with Marisa in between as I go forward with some of those. I have also plans to write with Casey Azell going forward, and have another novel that is with Chuck Gannon in the Murphy's Lawless series, which is now owned, or not owned, but is now published by Bain. So there's the one braided novel coming out in January, and then we have Admiral later on in the year. So lots to do, lots to write. I think I am closing in on 500,000 words written this year.
Awesome.
I'm a little behind the pace for where I wanted to be. I'm hoping to end up with about 750,000 by the end of the year. But I'm going to have to get on the horse here the next couple of weeks and get caught back up. We went to Canada and I didn't write a single word for 2 weeks. And that kind of put me a little behind.
Well, nor should you. It's vacation.
Yeah, it was vacation, and it was good. And I don't begrudge it. I went from being ahead of pace, after writing with Marisa and doing 4 or 5, a day, kind of ended up ahead, and it was great. And now I got to catch back up.
Yeah, y'all should do daily word counts to one another, so y'all can keep that pace up again. You did what now?
Yeah,
CKP version
you only got 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yikes! That's our Wordle. I love it.
But I always go first, so she always knows what the target is. I never know what the target is.
I mean, she's smart.
Well, it's our the boss.
All right, Joel, speak to us about your empire.
Yes.
So I guess the big thing for me is I guess I need to go to Factory Con, and I guess I need to give you guys your patches, if you want them, of course. Which there actually is symbolism to the patch. Everyone cares. We'll talk about that. This is the Celtic infinity knot represents family, so a pride, and the colors are the actual true Lyons clan tartan colors. So it's actually a thing. So I'll do that at Factory Con, and then in January 13th, 14th, and 15th here up in Virginia Beach, I have taken over Mars Con, and I think there's going to be some people there. I think that's from CKP. I think Chris Kennedy will be there. Mark Wadry is going to be there. Marisa Wolf's going to be there. Casey Azell is going to be there. Rob Howe's going to be there. So a few of them.
Stilbos lives nearby. I'd be surprised if he wouldn't come.
Yeah, Stovos. I think Stovos was. I saw him at the last Mars Con. I think Dave's talking to him. Dave Clare, great guy. And then I don't know. There's this thing in March that we tend to do, at least since 2019. This thing called Fantasy. But I don't really need to get into Fantasy. I feel like at this point it's preaching to the choir.
There's a lot of CKP people that go to Fantasy.
It is a CKP con. And I think, at least for me, when it comes to the empire building, it's funny because the con chair for Mars Con, I was actually, for those who don't know this, Fantasy is actually named after Fantasy in Chesapeake, which I went to the very first Fantasy in Chesapeake decades ago. It was my first con, and I just liked the name. And so I went and asked them to borrow it. So I was actually at the Chesapeake Fantasy last year, and the con chair came up for a Mars Con at the time. He's like, "Hey, you want to run Mars Con?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I need you to run Mars Con." I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it, but I'm going to do it the way I run the cons." And he's like, "That's okay."
Great.
So to me, it's
and what did all the rest of us say? We all said, "Yay!"
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because we like the way Joel runs cons.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I run it like my thing is it's I run them like giant nerd family reunions. That's the whole point. I don't try to overwork my staff. Chris can tell you, and Marisa can tell you, I don't try to overwork my panelists. If you have more than 4 or 5 panels, that's because somehow you snuck in on the panel and I didn't know about it. Because I want I want you to enjoy the con as well and have time to interact with your fans. That's the big thing for me. And to foster the Relaxicon atmosphere. A lot of people gave me flack for having to move MarsCon, which was traditionally a Williamsburg con, to Virginia Beach, but there's a larger population density. For anybody who's never been to Hampton Roads, there's these things called the tunnels, and they're magical barriers. And if something's on the outside of the tunnel, the chances of you going and do it drop precipitously. Chris can tell you because the tunnels are evil. They're possessed by the fallen sailors of some like Indian tribe. I don't know, but they are evil. The Herbert and the Monitor Merrimack are the devil. But by moving to the south side, and it's funny it worked out. That also allowed it made it easier for Chris and Sheila to come, which is a big thing to me because they're my friends. And I like them to always be part of things that I'm doing. And
we like to be part of things that he's doing too, so it works out both ways.
And it's a new venue. It's a larger venue, and Fantasy tops 300 to 200 to 300, 350 people, but MarsCon tops at 4 times that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it changes. Funny anecdote. I'm getting me con chair mindset. So I promised that hotel 500 room nights. And I called her like last week, and she's like, "You're at 678 room nights," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." My bad.
And it's a hotel that doesn't have black mold like the old one,
or killer elevators,
or the elevator that broke Sheila.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. Well, I like the old MarsCon. I love the event space of the old MarsCon hotel. It was a great event space. It was like 40,000 square feet of event space, like massive. But it was just a weird hotel. Like it was. The last year I stayed in this weird. It was a king suite. It was weird in this corner. So you enter the suite, right? And you enter and you're like, okay, this is the living room. And then you look up and the bed was up like 2 flights of steps, like 2 steps. Like it was raised. And I was like, what crackhead architect designed this room? Like they had built it on 2 separate levels of the hotel. Chris, when you go in that back hallway of that hotel, it goes up like 2 ramps.
Yeah.
It's like they built the room in between 2 ramps. And they're like, we have to use this space. We'll make it a suite.
we can make the bed the
the altar. Yeah,
the presentation space.
Yeah, speaking of the weird altar, as John had to say about the tunnels, there you go. that's the bed you wake them up from.
Yeah, like the new construction on the Herbert wakes Cthulhu.
Yeah, and we've started some marital problems here about the book budget, and there's George.
But then
Kindle Unlimited, one price for as many as you want to read.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Some great CKP books coming.
I did like being able to buy the book a week or 5 days early. I like that. Made me feel exclusive.
The pre-sale.
I was like, oh, you're gonna have a book launch of the book I just read on Monday. Yes. I was like, I did my homework on this book.
Yay!
I am able to speak intelligently on this topic.
I understood the assignment.
Well done. Well done.
All right. So
We did get.
Oh, go ahead, Marisa.
I was going to say the creator, one of the two creators of the Hit World universe, popped up. So you missed us talking a little bit about some Hit World shenanigans, Bill. But hi. Hit World.
All right. So with that, y'all already kind of talked about where y'all are going to be, but what's your next appearance? Well, I know Marisa's, but say it anyway.
Dragon Con.
My next one is Factory Con. We're not doing Dragon. We had planned to. Our big expense was going to be to go to 20 Books Madrid this year,
Nice.
and then so we had signed up to go to the National Book Festival, which happens to be the same weekend as Dragon Con, and we didn't get Dragon Con hotel room, so. We didn't make it to Madrid because Sheila's knee operation was the week before that, but by then it was too late to do Dragon, and we're doing the National Book Festival, which is a lot of fun for especially for Sheila. That was when I was elementary school principal. She was my librarian, and she went to it every year, got the posters, would take a bunch of books and get them signed by the authors there. So it's something that she really likes to do, and it's a lot of fun. Used to be a couple-day event. It's now down to one, but it's still, lots of things to do and see.
It's still at Madrid.
That doesn't hurt.
Sweet, that's pretty sweet.
All right, and Joel, we'll see you at Factory Con. You got anything else coming up before then?
No, I'm not that important, Coach Kemosabe. No one comes to see me. Unless you're in my D&D group on every Friday, then yes.
Unless you're part of the Pride.
I mean, I've been really tempted to since I do the Lyons Pride meetings in the Lyons Den, I'm tempted just to invite everyone down. It's like, oh, everyone in the group's invited. We're talking Lyons logistics. This is a boring. I didn't make you join this.
Yeah, you just came. It's your fault. That's funny.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marisa.
I was going to say, folks should come to Fantasy. I believe the dining out is sold out, but at the dining out, if you are able to finagle a ticket, and there are always some tickets that come available at the end there, you can watch authors like Nick Steverson have to drink lots and lots of grog because they're wrong. And he made no other comments that are important after this in the chat, so you can ignore everything else he said. The only important things Nick has said today is that Melissa is awesome, true, and that he doesn't want to drink grog anymore because he was wrong. The end.
Dragons.
Yeah, supposedly that was the one of the the whole. It's funny. The whole reason that the Lioness in real life was all about making the Pride official was she's like, no one's gonna steal the grog again.
Well done, well done, Mary. Well done.
And I'm like, okay, I guess we're making a unit to protect the grog.
That's the whole reason.
Well, this
We'll have
past
to make
year,
sure that goes into the next one.
Yeah.
This past year was my first dining out that I went to, and I drank way too much grog, and I told on myself in order to do it, and but it was fun. I heard it was much nastier in years past.
Okay, it's a punishment drink, people. It's not.
What I'm saying.
It's not supposed to be something you want to do.
Yeah.
It's not
supposed to be something you want to steal and take back to your table and drink like a bunch of hillbillies.
Correct.
Not calling anybody out. It's verifying visual facts.
That's true. The hillbillies.
A certain chief complains about toothpaste. I'm like, well, don't drink the grog. My proudest moment.
Right.
My
Don't do
proudest
anything wrong.
moment is that I made Johnny Minion throw up the first time he out.
Oh gosh.
Because he thought he was a Billy Badass, and he, instead of drinking the little grass, he was like, I'm a Billy Badass, and he drank like a a pint glass of the grog, and that was a bad idea.
And he kept challenging me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens. I will say, to Melissa's point, I should say, although Nick is completely wrong about many things, he is an awesome storyteller, and you should definitely read his books. Just do not listen to his opinions about dragons because they're wrong. Unless it's about his space dragons.
And you notice that speaking of this, I might have been a little bit of a dick. Well, I'm a big dick.
That's what I'm doing right now, is abusing my power.
Well, you know what the theme of Fantasy this year is, right? It's Here Be Dragons.
No.
Because we got the guy Richard Kanak. He was a big Dragonlance guy, and I'm a huge SCP fan. So that's, if anybody's an SCP fan, about Here Be Dragons, and that might be a whole creepypasta thing. You guys aren't, that's one of the new age damn millennials making up new spooky monsters. But the Here Be Dragon, if you actually do ever read any SCP, if you read the Here Be Dragon SCP, it's actually a very heartwarming story. It's sad, but it's heartwarming.
I do like it.
Well, with that, I think we're gonna call it a night. But before we go, let's tell you what's coming up next, or what has come. Of course, we talked about future books earlier. You can catch it on anywhere that you can see podcasts, and now it's on YouTube. You can see it on the Chris Kennedy YouTube page. This past Wednesday, of course, we came out with the latest installment of the hit world Valkyries author series with Jordan Como. And next week on Inside CKP, we're going to have another book launch for Marie Whitaker for her Eldros Legacy book, Embers and Ash, Legacy of Queens. Very excited about that. And all of you, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell people you don't like, come and watch the show. It'll be great. Just like this one. And I want to say thank you to all my guests. I really appreciate you coming on. Joel, Marisa, Chris, I really appreciate you guys. This was a great show. You are all welcome back anytime.
And the words of the crowd in our motto, hey, it wasn't us.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you all very much. And with that, see you next time.